Wow, easy to heel toe. Oh man, is this car good. All right, guys, so we have a great one for you today. Thanks to DCH Acura in Verona, New Jersey. They're one of the biggest Acura dealers in New Jersey, actually in the whole country. So if you want a sweet deal either on an Acura or this Cayman S, which is currently for sale in their inventory, I'll leave a link in the description. You can contact Tim, the sales manager, directly, or contact me. You can email me at glenscarcollection@gmail.com. I'll put you in touch with them, and you can get a special price on this car or any Acura. So thanks again for them sponsoring this video and allowing me to drive and review their car. All right, so 2014 Cayman S is the first year of the 981. Here in the United States, the 987 was the first gen of the Cayman, 2 gens, 987.1, which in the United States, there's model year 2006 to 2008. I owned a 2008 Cayman S, which was the last year of their first gen. And then they made a 987.2, which had the DFI engine. That went from 2009 to 2012, and it culminated with 2012 Cayman R. There was no model year 2013, and in model year 2014, Porsche launched the 981 series Cayman, and this is an S model, and there were also a non-S. The S model is the one you want. It has a 3.4 liter flat six. It's 325 horsepower at 7,400 RPM, 272 foot-pounds of torque. Now, in modern days, that doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind this car is 2,900 pounds, especially if you get it with the manual transmission. It's a little heavier if you get it with the dual clutch. Mid-engine, what's make this car so good? Well, let's go over it. Mid-engine, rear drive. Normally aspirated engine, no turbos here, so you can really wring this car out. It revs to 7,400 RPM. We're not going to do it since this car is currently for sale. 0 to 60 time in about 4.7 seconds for a manual transmission like this. The PDK is about 4.2 seconds. You even can get decent gas mileage. Porsche rates this car at 20 city and 28 highway. All right, let's go take it for a spin. All right, guys, let's start the car. And there's that nice flat six sound. All right, so this car is a really good spec car. This is probably how I would spec it. So manual transmission, 6-speed manual. 7-speed would be standard on the new 991, but those extra gears are really just overdrive. So here, no nonsense with the Cayman. It's a 6-speed. You have your sport button, your traction control down here, your automatic start, which we could take off, your poser button, which actually raises or lifts the spoiler. It will come up at speed, so the cops know how fast you were going. Here's your climate control. We have heated and cooled seats, which is a great option, especially for 2014. I really like this steering wheel. Now this comes from the PDK cars where they had the shifting actually up here in the early PDK cars before they went to the bigger paddles, like in the 987.2 generation. But we're in a 981, and this gives you all your information here. Porsche speedometers go by 25 increments with 5 in between, so it's very hard, say if you were going 30 or 35. So I've always looked at the speed right here. I had as I mentioned, I had a 2008 Cayman S, so that's typically where I would just, you look at the tachometer, which is always front and center in a Porsche, that's what's great about it, and then just use this as your speedometer. These cars get pretty good gas mileage if you don't, if you drive them normally, but they're a blast to drive because they are mid-engine. So this interior is nice. It is a big step up compared to my 987 2008 Cayman S, which was a 987.1. Here in the United States, model years were 2006 to 2008 for the original Cayman S, and then 2009 to 2012, culminating with the Cayman R in 2012. There was no model year 2013, and then it went to the 981 version, which is what we're driving, in 2014. You can get a base or this Cayman S. And definitely get the Cayman S. The stereo, this has the Bose stereo, and it sounds phenomenal. I can't play it for you because then I couldn't monetize the video, but trust me, it sounds great, way better than the Bose I had in my 987. All right, guys, well, that's the interior, and now it's time to drive. All right, guys, so let's drive. This is my first time driving a 981 Cayman S, and hopefully I know where I'm going. We got thunderstorms on the way, so we're trying to beat that, get this car safe. Oh, listen to that. So first thing you hear with a mid-engine car is everything is happening behind you. So you really get a sense of occasion driving this car, especially with a manual transmission. It's not like a front engine car. It's just so nimble as we turn through some turns here, just because it is it's mid-engine. So this car has basically a razor sharp turn in. Now this is much more luxurious and say quieter than the 987 Cayman S that I had. That car's more raw, got a cheaper feeling interior, was certainly made to a price point. I mean, they are hardtop Boxsters. This car, though, feels worlds better than my Cayman S. And they're not too much more money. You can get first-gen Caymans probably in the $25,000 range, like an 06 with average miles. The DFI cars in 09 are much higher. They're probably 39 to 40. But these are like mid-40s, so why not get one of these? This car in particular only has 26,000 miles on it. That's very low for 2014, so it certainly must be you know, a well-loved car. Some of these back roads, you could really toss this car around. I mean, it is really a lot of fun to drive for sure. Mid-engine makes all the difference in the world. Once you have a mid-engine car, you won't go back. So I bought my 2008 Cayman S, actually before I even bought my first NSX. So yeah, I said my first NSX. The blue one is my second NSX. So what happened was, I was looking, I had a 996 C4S, which was a fantastic car. And I even tracked it, I autocrossed it. And I wanted to go mid-engine. Once I test drove a Cayman S, there was essentially no looking back. And I decided between, this was in 2012, and I was really deciding between a 996 C4S that I had bought. It was an 02 model that I bought in 06, so I bought that 4 years old. And we're going over some speed bumps here. And this car gets a lot of looks. Everybody's looking at this car. And again, the shake is from the speed bumps. And I wanted to stay with Porsche because it's just so reliable. It's one of the few cars you could drive to work and then track on the weekends, be competitive, and drive home. You don't have to go crazy modifications. These brakes are steel brakes. They're not even ceramics. Ceramics are optional now on the newer cars. And, you know, you don't need anything more than steel brakes with a Porsche, unless you're Michael Schumacher or Mario Andretti. You'll be fine with steel brakes. I always track my Porsches with steel brakes. So it's one of the few cars you could drive every day and then track on the weekend. I should stop talking over these speed bumps here. And so I wanted mid-engine. I was doing a lot of autocross at the time, and instead of struggling always with the rear engine and have to make up for compromises with that, okay, so how did I get to my Cayman S? Well, I wanted a mid-engine car. I had a 996 C4S that I was doing a lot of autocross and track. And, you know, rear engine isn't really cut out. Certainly for track it does with the rear weight bias, but it was difficult in autocross. And I did really well with it. I changed the sway bars and stuff like that, sticky tires. And I just wanted a mid-engine car because once I test drove a Cayman S at the original launch, I was blown away. So in 2012, I was looking for a 2008 because I thought it would be best to start there since I had never had a Cayman or a mid-engine car. And I'm telling you, it was one of the best cars I ever drove. And this blows it away. I mean, this really blows it away. If I had a 981, which wasn't out at the time in 2012, I'd still have it. There's no way if I owned a 981 I would ever. Acceleration. Whoa, this car moves. This car moves, guys. This car moves. If I had a 981, I would have never sold the car. That's how good this car is. It's got a ton of power, and the sound, that's what we're missing. In the 718, it's a very fast car. I've test driven one. I haven't reviewed one on the channel yet. And it's a fun car. The chassis is fantastic, just like this car, but you lose the sound. I'd much rather have this car and have that flat six, normally aspirated sound. What else can I tell you about the car? The clutch is nice. The clutch is nice and easy to go. Obviously, it's only got 26,000 miles on it, so it's not worn out at all. The tires have a ton of tread on it. They do have electric steering. The previous Caymans were hydraulic. These are electric, so the car is still very precise, but obviously you lose the feel with electric steering, but all cars have electric steering, so there's not much you can do about it right now. The clutch is really easy at takeoff. It's nice and light. It's fun to drive because it is a stick shift. Wow, oh my God. You can really hear that sound. Oh man, is this car good. One thing about Porsches, there is a ton of visibility in here. You won't believe the visibility in this car. 911s are the same way. Even though you have the big C pillars here and the big A pillars, there's a ton of, you can see out, you know, those little windows where the rear seats would be, because obviously it's only a two-seater. And it is very easy to change lanes on this car, which is really fantastic. It makes it a very easy daily driver. The clutch is so light, wow, I can't believe it. I have size 13 feet, so I have no trouble heel and towing in this car. This car's just got the stock exhaust, but it still sounds great. There's plenty of aftermarket for these cars, so if you wanted an aftermarket exhaust, you could easily do that. Wow, this is like, I don't know if you own this car, how you don't drive it every day. I mean, this could certainly be a weekend car because it's a sports car, but it's GT enough, more than GT enough, that I think this is probably even better than the M2. And the prices now for used ones are very, very similar, and I think it would be even tough to get an M2 when you could own a Cayman S. And the reason for that is mid-engine car, and obviously this does a better job as a sports car, and the M2 probably does a better job at a daily driver because you can fit adults in the back seat. All right, let's start off in first gear. Give it the beats. Wow, look, we're not even going high or breaking any speed limits, and this car is wow, it is so good. Now the roads are bumpy. It's not the car, it's the roads, but you could really wow, you could really feel the car here for sure. It just rides so good. Wow, easy to heel toe. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, so unfortunately we have to head back to the dealership, to DCH Acura. Wow, this car is fast. It feels faster than 4.7 seconds, maybe because it's, broken in. Remember, these cars new started in that 60,000 range for an S model, and probably optioned out were about 75 brand new. I think that's hurt Cayman sales. Probably somebody that could spend 75 or 80,000 may want the 911 badge, but now these cars have crept just under 50,000. They're anywhere in that 47 to 50,000 range like this one, and I think that's a steal. For a low mileage car like this, you get one for 50,000 miles, you could probably get it closer to 45. With low miles like this, 26, they sell for about 49 or 50. And let me tell you something, you feel like you're driving a $75,000, $80,000 car. This does not feel like a $49,000 car at all. It feels way more expensive. And driving this car, I've been stopped quite a few times for thumbs up, people coming over to talk to me in the car. I've only driven this car a couple of miles, and it's taken so long to shoot this video because of all the attention this car attracts. Now, it is black on black, so it's not going to be as much attention or red or blue. But man, this is a fun car to drive. Oh my God, how can you not own one? Especially now at this price point. I don't think these cars are going to go much lower. You know, the 987s, you know, good ones that have the DFI engine, the 09s, the 2010s, they're still like 40 grand. So, I mean, this is not going to go lower than them. And this is definitely the better car. Those cars are certainly more raw. And this car could really be a daily driver weekend car. If you can get away with 2 seats, this could actually even be your only car. That's how good and refined this car is. But I mean refined in a good way. It's still a sports car. The air conditioning works great. The stereo is amazing. It is just a blast to drive for sure. All right, so now as we get to the end of the video, what do I like about it? What I don't like about it? I love the handling. I love that it's mid-engine. I've probably said that 50 times. I love that it's a manual transmission, even though it's a tick slower than the PDK. And if you like PDK, get a PDK. But these manuals are so hard to find. I was so glad that they actually had a manual for me to review. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. It's just so much more involving with the car. I do like, I like the steering, the precise nature of it. I like the grip that this car has, especially mid-engine. This car is not going to go into snap oversteer like a 911 would. What I don't like about it, well, the price originally for these cars was real high, so they didn't sell many of these cars. So what I don't like is it's very hard to find a manual transmission Cayman, especially in the 981s, because everybody took the PDK. You know, the steering feel could be a little better. I mean, it's kind of numb because it's electric steering, but it's still excellent. So those are probably my only 2 gripes. And, you know, again, the hardest thing is finding one with a manual transmission. And luckily, we found one. Thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below what you think of the 981 Cayman S. Would you buy one? What color would you choose? Would you choose a manual? Would you choose a PDK? What do you think of the 718? Let me know. I think this is gonna hold its value, maybe even better than the 718s, because I've driven them, and just the sound alone, I think, blows away the 718. And I think there's going to be people wanting the last of the naturally aspirated Porsches, especially with the manual. That's my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to hit that subscribe button. And we post videos 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. We got a lot of great reviews for you coming up. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.